All right, so let's get started with your notes. So this lesson is using synectics. So this is your first fill in the blank, synectics. And synectics means that you are bringing together different things that normally you wouldn't think go together. So we're going to be comparing things and putting things together that maybe you wouldn't normally think of as things that go together. We are going to be focusing on the four main characters of Salt to the Sea, and we're specifically going to be focusing on their emotions. Because if you think back to the first four chapters, each of the characters' chapters started with blank is a hunter. And so these emotions that they are feeling play a big part in who they are and why they do certain things throughout the book. All right, so let's first review the characters. So we have Amelia. Tell me some things that you know or remember about Amelia. Yes.
She's pregnant.
She is pregnant. What else? She's Polish. She's 15. What else? What's her relationship like with some of the other characters?
She looks up to Florian.
She looks up to Florian. She kind of likes him. He doesn't really like her back, not in that way. He wants to protect her. So she's Polish, 15 years old and pregnant. And remember, for her first chapter, the big emotion for her is shame. Shame is her hunter. Let's talk about Joanna. What do we know about Joanna? Natalia, let's put that up.
Yeah, she's a nurse.
She is a nurse, or at least she's trained as a nurse. What else do you know about her? Yeah.
She feels guilty from leaving her family.
Good. So guilt is her hunter, and we know that she feels guilty about leaving her family behind. What about her relationships with some of the other characters? She likes Florian. So she likes Florian kind of like Amelia does. Does Florian like her the same? Yes. So like this is one where he's actually returning her affections. He really likes her too, but he doesn't want to start a relationship with her. So Joanna is Lithuanian. She is trained as a nurse, which comes in handy. And then for her first chapter, her hunter is guilt. All right, what about Florian then? What do we know about Florian so far? Is he going to like somebody? No, not what.
That's not Fred.
I think something. That's okay. Good. He worked for Dr. Wonga, and at first he worked on restoring paintings that have been damaged, or just really old paintings and kind of refreshing them and making them better. So he worked as an art restorer. What else do we know about Florian? His hunter is fate. How do we see that in his relationships with other characters? Daniel?
He doesn't want to like talk to people because he's not gonna like use the relationships if it's gonna box him.
Right. So if he thinks he's just going to die or bad things are going to happen to him or bad things are going to happen to the people around him, we see him not talking a lot to the other characters, or when he does talk to them, it's very like separate. Like he doesn't even call them their names. He calls Amelia the Polish girl. He calls Joanna the nurse. Like he doesn't even refer to people as their names. All right, and then the last one, Natalia, is Alfred. And so Alfred is the one that does what?
Writes letters.
He's the one that's writing letters. Who is he writing letters to? Laura, which we're kind of starting to gather some information about her.
Drill, code ADD.
Right.
Good. His hunter is fear. And how do we see that in his character development and how he acts? All right, so tell me more about the perspective.
Like whenever he's doing this letters to Honey Lord,
He sort of views himself as brave, but in real life, he's just like coward. Doesn't matter.
Good. All right, so now that we've done a real quick review of the four main characters, let's get into our activity. For today, we're going to do one of the activities together. You're going to do an activity with your group members, and then you're going to do an activity on your own. So, for us to get started, let's choose one of these characters that we can talk about together as a class. Which one do you want to talk about today? Florian? Amelia?
Joanna.
Joanna? All right, so how about we take a vote? Raise your hand if you want us to talk about Amelia. I think you got outvoted, Carson. Raise your hand if you want to talk about Joanna. Raise your hand if you want to talk about Florian. I think that one's going to win. And then raise your hand if you want to talk about Alfred. Okay, so we're going to talk about Florian. Now, when you do this with your group members, or when you do this on your own, you'll choose another one of the characters to write about. But for us to do this together, we're going to focus on Florian. All right, so the first thing that I want us to do is I just want us to describe Florian. It could be the way he looks. It could be the way he talks. It could be the way he acts. Just what are some words? What are some descriptions? Maybe what are some character traits that would describe Florian? Yes.
He keeps to himself.
Okay, keeps to himself. What else?
I'd say he's secretive.
Secretive. Where do you see him being secretive?
He doesn't want when he and Amelia stumbled upon the cabin. He didn't want Joanne to see his identification, his cards or papers or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He didn't want her to know his name.
Good. So he's very secretive about his identity, who he is, where he's from, that kind of thing. And that also ties back into like keeping to himself, right? How else would you guys describe Florian? Jacob?
Quiet.
He is quiet, which also kind of goes into him being secretive and keeping to himself, but he is quiet. He doesn't have a lot of dialogue like the other ones do. Yeah.
Serious?
Mysterious.
But he didn't even want Amelia to like him out.
All right. Lone wolf. Can you tell me more about what you mean by lone wolf?
He wants you can infer that he wanted to travel by himself at first. But it was by coincidence he stumbled upon Amelia and she won't let him go.
Okay.
And she won't stop following him. And he stumbled upon the group of people. But he has a plan and he plans to stick with it.
Okay, so we could put maybe he's a planner. There is a plan at play here. Maybe we could put he's determined, like he's very focused on this plan. All right, any other words that we want to use, Carson?
Talented.
He is talented, especially in his art restoration. And then we find out he's really good at forging papers and signatures, which that comes in handy for him in the group. All right, so the next step is we have all of these words that we use to describe Florian. Now I kind of want you to switch your thinking a little bit. I want you to think of maybe some animals or maybe some objects that go with these words. So for example, if we said he was cautious and quiet, maybe we think of a cat, right? Because a cat's very cautious, a cat's very quiet, cat has a certain way that it behaves. So looking at some of these words, what are some objects or animals or things that pop into your head? Yeah, Jacob? All right, which one of these words makes you think of owl? Or is there a word we need to add?
Mysterious.
Mysterious. Okay, so Jacob says, I think of an owl when I think of mysterious. Why do you think of an owl?
We just watch.
Okay, just kind of watch what's going on. They're quiet.
Intelligent.
Yeah.
They're also intelligent. That's a
And maybe kind of like a bolt because he always keeps himself there.
like a vole.
Yeah, because like he always wants to keep like other people from finding out and stuff. Like
What is a vole?
a bolt, like a basically.
Did I hear you wrong? Because I'm thinking of a rodent.
No, a bolt.
Okay, the vole.
A bolt. Like he put stuff in it.
A vault.
Yeah,
Okay.
a bolt.
A vault. Sorry, I misheard you. So a vault. Why is he like a vault?
Because he keeps himself and doesn't want people to know.
Okay, keeps to himself. And how is that like a vault?
Because it's meant to keep stuff out, people out, and keep stuff.
All right, it keeps stuff in, it keeps people out. All right, what other objects or animals would we use to describe Florian?
Wolverine.
A Wolverine. Okay, tell me how you got to Wolverine.
No.
How do you spell Wolverine?
I have no idea.
I think it's a I-F-E right after.
That's what I was gonna go with, but I wasn't sure. All right, tell me which one of these words led you to Wolverine?
I don't know. He just seems very strong. Like he was able to. Anyway, he was very strong. He was able to, like, survive that long with that capsized stuff in him.
All right, so he's able to survive on his own.
Yeah.
Maybe we add some more words up here then. So strong, he's good at survival. Is there an animal or an object you would describe as being focused?
A robot.
A robot? How is robot and focus go together?
Because a robot is programmed, it's supposed to do what's
Oh.
programmed to do.
And so like whatever its program is, like that's what it's gonna do, right? I saw a hand back here.
Also, so small, who's very funny.
Ooh, like a sloth because he's quiet. Can we think of an animal or an object? I mean, this one I feel like is kind of easy. A planner. What object might we use to represent a planner? Someone who plans. A notebook or a calendar or a journal, right? All right, so now we're going to pick one of these images to focus on. So do we want to say Florian is like an owl, a sloth? We decided bowl wasn't right. Calendar, vault, notebook, Wolverine, or robot. Which one do you think he's most like?
Probably a vault.
A vault? So I heard a vote for vault. What else?
Robot.
A robot? Any other ones that stand out to you guys?
An animal.
Owl? All right, so between owl, vault, and robot, raise your hand if you want us to use owl for our next step. Raise your hand if you want us to use vault for our next step. Raise your hand if you want us to use robot for our next step. Okay, it looks like vault got the most votes. So on your paper, where we've been writing all of these words, we're going to complete the following analogy. So we're going to say this character, so Florian. Florian is like a vault because, why? Why is he like a vault? What up here led us to vault? Say what? He keeps to himself. Is there other things up here that go with vault? Mysterious, because like if you didn't put the stuff in the vault, you don't know what's in it. What else might go with vault? Secretive. Because once again, if you don't know what's in it, it is a secret, right? Anything else up here that you think goes with vault?
It's quiet. They don't make it noise.
They're quiet. Unless you have the one that beeps or, makes an alarm or something.
It's strong, so people won't get something.
It is strong. All right, so write some of these words to complete the rest of our sentence. So this character, Florian, is like a vault because he keeps to himself. Is secretive. And mysterious. I'm going to use 3 of them. So Florian is like a vault because he keeps to himself, is secretive, and mysterious. So now what you guys are going to do is you're going to do the same exact steps, but you're going to do them with your table mates. You're going to choose one of the other 3 characters. So you can choose Amelia, Alfred, or Joanna as a group, and you're going to go through these same 3 steps. You're going to describe them like character trait wise. Then you're going to describe them as an object or an animal. And just like we did, you're going to kind of focus it in. You're going to narrow it down to what you actually want to complete your analogy with at the end. If you get stuck, or if you want me to look and kind of check your progress, I will. But otherwise, I want to hear you guys talking to your group. So the first question you should be asking your group is, which character do you want to focus on? All right, so which character do you guys want to focus on?
I think back over yeah.
Riley, are you fine with Amelia? Very good, very fine with Amelia? Okay, so go ahead and write her down for group practice. And I want you guys to start brainstorming your list of adjectives and your list of description words. All right, who did you guys talk about? Amelia, so stars coming up, like you guys are doing with your description words. Get a pretty good list going. Don't just write a couple of things and go to the next stage. Like, get a pretty good list going.
She is. No, definitely. She is pizza. What?
So what are some words you would use to describe Amelia? So what character traits were that?
I would say clean. I'm not knowing of the race.
Okay, so she wears a hat.
Second one.
Lively.
Lively.
I didn't want that though again. That's awesome. Wait, on the other.
Yeah, they were good.
I was just.
Alright, what else did you guys use to describe Amelia?
I don't know, they like hiding.
Oh, maybe it's floral.
Okay, so easily attached to people. Maybe dependent on others.
Yeah.
Alright, so what kind of words have we come up with for Alfred so far?
Liar.
Thank you very much.
Careful.
Careful. Alfred.
Oh, that's the
Exaggerator.
That's enough.
Okay, so what kind of animals have you guys come up with so far?
How was I true?
I would say like a squirrel. What word I think was squirrel? You hide easily. Well, you guys didn't put that over here, so you need to add that.
Sky. A big dog cat. That's usually what you.
What about, is that?
It all goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
How, what word did you connect with honor?
That one is.
We're Xing out honor. Oh, we got a minute. Alright, what are some other, they don't have to just be handled either, they could also be. Lovely.
You know.
No, we didn't.